I'm Avit Bwowmik. I'm an assistant professor in Khalsa University and the research director of Exponential Roadmap Initiative. But most importantly, I care for the environment and our climate. And I'm here to share with you something that will help you to cut down your emissions in 4 easy steps. The science has been really clear about this. Climate change is not a problem of the low-lying developing countries anymore. We have experienced the history's worst wildfire in Sweden in 2018. Also experiencing the collapse in the Nordic cod fishery, which is the major livelihood in many of the Nordic countries. We are at a planetary emergency. The only way out of this is to cut down our emissions really fast. We have to halve global emission no later than 2030 and continue halving until 2050 to a level that our natural carbon sinks like forests and oceans will be able to sequester. It may look like a grand vision, but when you have a really big problem, you divide it into chunks. And that's what we should focus at. We should focus at the first halving. So how can we cut down our emission by 50% by 2030? The good news is we have the solutions for that. We have solutions in every sector, including the business sector, to cut down our emissions and achieve the net zero. But we also have the motivation, like IKEA in Sweden has promised and has the goal to be climate positive by 2050. So not only eliminating the emissions, but also contributing to the society for eliminating emissions. So now the real question is, how shall we do this? That's why Business Playbook is here. The steps are very simple. The first thing you should start with in every business is to have an ambition that aligns with the 1.5 degrees Celsius. So have this goal to halve your emission no later than 2030. That's the very first step. Then we could start with the 4 pillars of the Business Playbook. The first pillar is reduce your own emissions. So these are not the emissions of your product, but the emissions that comes from running your business. So where is your electricity coming from? Is it from the coal power plant? How do you heat your buildings? What are your transports? Are they run by fossil fuel or are they hybrid and electric? So look at those emissions that are coming from running your business and eliminate them first. In the second step, we look at the emissions from your product, the value chain emissions. So that starts with having an idea of a product and materialize it into what is happening in the end user side. How are the end users using your product? And if the emissions are coming from that. So think about where are your raw materials coming from? Are they emission intensive? How the processing takes place in your industry? And what happens when you sell the product? When the end users use them, do they emit? So identify those emissions and reduce them to half by 2030 and do more if possible. The pillar number 3 is to integrate climate in your business strategy. So you can take a step forward and do more for climate action. So not only actually reducing the emissions from your product and in your business, but also sell product and create ideas for products that will help the society to reduce emissions. So products that are based on renewable energy, products that helps people to sequester emission from the atmosphere. And the final step is for you to be a role model for the society. So try to influence the policies, the policymakers, the local decision makers, the other businesses who hasn't managed. Guide them, show them what you did, what you achieved, and help them in achieving the same. So once you do all these things, maybe you have this question in the back of your head that why business is so important. Because climate change is a global problem. It's everyone's responsibility. What special role can business play? A simple answer to that's at the core of every business is the profit maximization. So you are doing business because you want to make money out of it. And Sweden has set the leading example that actually reducing emissions means profit maximization. So during the last 27 years, Sweden managed to increase its GDP by 78% by reducing its emission by 26%. So achieving sustainability is also profitable. And follow that line. And the second thing is basically about your clients. People don't buy what you do, but actually what they buy is why you do it. So set this example to the society and you will get more clients. And more clients means more business and more profit. Join the small and medium enterprise climate hub, where many industries are joining in, signing up and making their promises to cut down emissions. You can be one of them. Not just that you make promises, but by showing that you actually achieve that, you can do this. And always keep this goal in your mind that we have to halve global emissions no later than 2030. You can do that, and I hope we will achieve it as a global society. Thank you.